Alright, howdy neighbors. Today we are going to be going through the Ahsoka episode 1 for all the Easter eggs. I have some tabs pulled up with some different websites and some different videos. I'm going to be showing you all, basically this is how I normally hunt for Easter eggs. Let me just do this and post everything here. And change my stream title. There we go. Let me get in there. Alrighty, let me just announce it to some people that what we're doing here. Top, Talking about Ahsoka episode 1. Got episode 1. No. Oh goodness, here. There we go. Jaycon, how you doing? How you doing? Yep, if you saw the title, we were talking about Ahsoka episode 1 today. I'm just putting out the announcement there on some different chats and stuff. Who else was it? Amish Ace. Where is his? There it is. Talking Ahsoka, episode 1. Oh, I messed that one up. Oh well. The Nudo house. Nudo house. Well, I guess early on. Hello there, Magical Tina. Yes, so yeah, we're talking about Ahsoka episode 1 today. I'm just putting out the alerts on some other Discord chats. So I guess let me know what y'all thought about Ahsoka episode 1 if you've seen it. And if you haven't, I recommend lurking because I will be going into full detail, full spoilers. Where is his streamer tab? There it is. Amishes, Nudo House. Oh, Prophet. This is all the way at the bottom, isn't it? Twitch. Alrighty, finally. So now we can get started here. Oh, let me pull up my chat. Love the episodes. Yes, so did I. Thought they were just really, really well done. Started off with a bang. And, you know, I hope this sets the pace for the next 6 weeks and next 6 episodes here. And let me just double check that this is working here. Yes, it is. Nice. Okay. So you're gonna get a little introduction to like how I do my Easter egg breakdowns that I post on Instagram. I'll add that to the chat here. Share profile, copy. And yeah, I usually use a lot of different sources. I would say like the main one is a website called New Rockstars. They're a YouTube channel, and they just go really in depth. I mean, they have a whole team of writers who watch the episode when it first drops, and this is everything. This is Star Wars, Marvel, Disney, Netflix stuff, HBO Max stuff, and they break it down really, really good. But I'm gonna start off here, and I'm gonna switch to this and do this. That has to be a smoother transition. But yeah, so we're gonna start off here with Looper. Looper is another entertainment website that they do a lot of a great job listing the different Easter eggs. So let's see what we got here. In many ways, Ahsoka is what Disney Plus Star Wars show should have been building toward. After Ahsoka Tano made her first live-action appearance in The Mandalorian Season 2, and Bo-Katan Kryze inserted herself into the main character in the same show, it has been clear that the small screen galaxy blah 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 blah. And the small screen far, far away isn't about to shy away from the events of Star Wars The Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels. And that's what I and many of us have been saying for a long time for these Disney Plus shows. While they are definitely new stories and expanding the Star Wars universe, it's all connected. So ignoring Star Wars The Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, I really don't think is an option at this point. To learn where Bo-Katan came from, to learn where Ahsoka came from, clones, Captain Rex, and it just fills in a lot of the gaps for in between the different movies. Fun homage to a deadly comic book droid. Oh, was there a nod to this? Let's see what this says. It says, if you were to guess which character gets the first close-up shot of Ahsoka Season 1 premiere, you probably wouldn't choose a random black-tinted 3PO unit on the ship transporting Morgan Elsbeth. Despite a blink and you'll miss it role, the events, the protocol droid gets a frankly disproportionate amount of love from the camera, even after it gets destroyed during Baylan Skoll's and Shin Hati's attack. We see Huyang casting a pointed look at its wrecked torso as a worker carries it through the Home 1 hangar. While this particular droid is probably just a regular old 3PO unit, its distinctive paint job and the amount of attention the show gives it are clearly a nod to 000. Okay, yes, 000 is like a murderous, assassin droid from the Dr. Aphra comics. I think that explains that here. The pitch black torture droid hails from the Star Wars comics, yeah. A combination of a dangerous personality matrix and the body of a humble protocol droid. 000 combines 3PO's verbosity with an unassuming appearance with the mind of an unrepentant sadist. Naturally, the droid tends to hang out with equally villainous R2-D2, XB, BT1. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I haven't read those comics specifically, but yeah. So while we know R2-D2 and C-3PO as our lovable droid duo, they purposely make like the opposite of them with 000 and BT1, who are just more murder droids. Like, people call Chopper that, but these two really fit that moniker. And so they're just saying that there was a droid that looked like 000. They're not saying 000 was actually in the show. Because like if he was just in the background and wasn't named and then destroyed, I think a lot of people would be upset by that, because I know a lot of people do like that droid from the comics. I actually have my TV here. I'm going to see if I can catch him here real quick. Baylan Skoll believes in the Darth Vader school of hallway combat. Yes, I think from the very beginning when we saw a clip of this scene in the trailer, that everyone was reminded of a lot of iconic Star Wars hallway scenes from Luke Skywalker Mandalorian Season 2 to to Darth Maul in Clone Wars Season 7, Darth Vader in Rogue One, and now we have Baylan Skoll here in Ahsoka. I'm watching like the beginning right now, and you know how it has that part where it just like flashes all these different helmets and droid heads. I think it's really cool that they change it up for the different episode for the different shows, like this one with a clone helmet, Merrick, that new Inquisitor guy, some droids, Sabine's helmet. Like whoever did that does a really really good job. I love Balin. Yes, he was so good. R.I.P. Ray Stevenson. His apprentice, Shin. Yeah, I got the sense that like she kind of is resenting some of his decisions in a way. I mean, um, she is obviously much younger. I'm guessing her and Sabine would be like around the same age, and there's going to be kind of that dynamic of like I mean, the first episode is literally titled Master and Apprentice, where you have Ahsoka with Sabine and then Balin with Shin, and their apprentices are both a little more hot-headed and stubborn. I also love that we start with an opening crawl. To see that in Star Wars, we haven't gotten that. Obviously, we got it in all 9 movies, all 9 Skywalker Saga movies. We got a little bit of a play on it in Solo, a Star Wars story, but Dave Filoni being very much attached to certain themes in Star Wars. Okay, I see. Is this it? Is this the droid they're talking about? That one's more blue. I'm not sure if that's the one they're talking about. I'm going to fast forward here. I think she's not wanting to do some of the stuff that she's asked. Oh, definitely, definitely. I mean, and that's like the whole thing with the Sith. They have the rule of 2. Only even Yoda knows it. Always 2 there are, no more, no less. But the thing is, like, the apprentice, since they're all about seeking power, the Sith that is, the apprentice is usually always trying to overthrow the master. I mean, and we see that several times. Dooku tries to persuade Obi-Wan to join him to throw over the Emperor. Vader tries to get Luke to join him to throw over the Emperor. Maul, no, not really with Maul. I think Maul was more of a more how do I say this? More loyal to the Emperor. That's it. Okay, so we have Balin here. Oh no, so Balin, hallway scene, Ahsoka doing some Indiana Jones stuff, looking for the hidden item. Yes. Oh man, where is this part? Because they have to be... Where is this part that they're talking about? Okay, it has to be when Ahsoka goes to check on the ship that was attacked. Ah, here we go. Thought I was going crazy. I'm like, I know that happens in this first episode. Well, let's take a look what they're saying here. Balin's skull believes in the Dark School hallway. Okay, Ahsoka Tano might be the Jedi dropout who was trained by Anakin Skywalker, Hayden Christensen, but Balin's skull is the one who fights like Darth Vader's skull. Immediately demonstrates how dangerous he is, rescuing former Magistrate Morgan Elsbeth. Without a care for his opponents, he almost casually destroys a troop of guards, deflecting and cutting his red light. Yeah, they said red, but this is clearly like... I mean, even Dave Filoni pointed out that it's not totally red. It's like a dark orange. And what I wanted to do here, actually, let me put Merrick Ahsoka image. Okay, look, you can clearly see the difference in color. That looks very much red, and that looks like a dark orange. And people were trying to say, like, no, it looks very much orange. I mean, it looks red. There's no difference. Oh, wait. Here we go. No, they're taking care of the wounded. Some people are getting back up. Oh, there we go. Okay, I see. No. I don't. Yeah, I'm gonna say I disagree with this. I mean, they never said that it was 000, but at the same time, I don't even think that droid looks black. I think it looks dark blue. I see the exact scene they're talking about here with Hu Yang looks over to see the droid like cut in half. But yeah, that's. I mean, unless just the reflection of other lights in this scene, but I think that looks more dark blue than black. Okay, where was I? The brutal sequence is essentially a better lit version of the best scene in Rogue One: A Star Wars Story, where Vader tears his way through the rebel forces who are trying to escape with the Death Star plans. Awesome scene. I mean, to end Rogue One on an exclamation point from Darth Vader, that's just one of the best scenes in Star Wars, if you ask me. Skull's large black-clad presence is just one helmet and creepy breathing apparatus short of a perfect Vader impression. Alright, the visual similarity between Skull's attack and Vader's hallway slaughter is interesting, since it stealthily suggests that the characters pose a similar threat, which could effectively make Skull the de facto successor to the Darth Vader role. Sorry, I just got something here I need to take care of. Oh my goodness, what is this? Okay, we're good. Okay, so they're just pointing out the similarities. That's another thing about these lists. Like, while I go through them to see if I can find anything, a lot of stuff is just like not clear-cut Easter eggs. It's more the writer or the video producer, whoever's talking, is like, "Hey, I saw this and it reminded me of this," and which is fine. But I am actually trying to look for legit references here. Ahsoka still loves her special move from the Clone Wars. Well, okay, we saw this in the trailer, and it's just a move that we see her do. Adrian Lozano, what's up? When's your birthday? My birthday is in 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, let me do something here. I think people know my birthday by now because I posted on Instagram different times. But let me do this real quick. What's today? Today's Friday. Today's Friday. And we're going to go over here, do this. Yes, that's what I thought. My birthday is in 133,920 minutes, give or take. Ahsoka still loves her special Clone Wars move. Ahsoka Tano's dual-wielding penchant for reverse grip. I should have asked. Y'all can see my screen, right? I just hope that it worked because I had to move some stuff around. But, yeah. I just hope that you all can see what I'm reading in the different pictures. Oh, well, you commented that it does look orange, so I hope that meant that you can see it. Ahsoka Tano's dual-wielding. I wish I had my second screen already. I've been working on getting that so I can see what I'm trying to stream and then see how it looks on the to the audience. Alright, Ahsoka Tano's dual-wielding and penchant for reverse grip technique have long established her as one of the most innovative lightsaber fighters in the franchise. Like several other Force users, she also seems to have developed a preference for specific tried and tested moves. Even in this, she proves she likes to think outside the box. In Star Wars Clone Wars, she has been known to use lightsabers to create improvised entrances to the next floor. And as a master apprentice proves, she honed her skills into an art form. Yes, and that's just really cool to see her use the lightsabers like that to throw it, make that circle, catch them, and then do the superhero landing when she moves down to the next floor. Turns out it's just the beginning. When enemy droids turn up and challenge her for the map she obtained, she busts out the move again by jumping back into the chamber. That was really, really cool. That whole battle between the droids, when she jumps back into the hole and then cuts holes to pull them down, just so clever. Ahsoka's awesome. Ahsoka, really love her fighting style. Unorthodox and fun to watch, and just makes for great sequences. What makes the moment so fun is that smirk on her face just before she pulls this off. Reveals what a huge flex this is. With all the force moves and fighting skills at her disposal, Ahsoka has no need to use specific move as she soon proves by effortlessly outclassing the droids until they activate their self-destruct mode. I saw this, and I saw some other YouTubers like reactions to it, and how they said like, okay, like they're gonna self-destruct. She's gonna run away to the ship, and she had a big head start running, but then these droids explode, and you see the destruction just expanding and expanding and expanding. It's like, oh, did not think those droids were that explosive. They're basically walking nukes, because you see the big mushroom cloud and everything. Let's see. Order 66 survivors sure enjoy their orbs and puzzles. Ahsoka's introductory scene in Master and Apprentice features way more than cool lightsaber action and improvised tunneling. The secret chamber she discovers features a complicated puzzle that she must solve in order to get the map orb that she seeks. By concentrating on the Force, Ahsoka is able to figure out the situation and solve the puzzle. This, combined with the fact that the prize is an orb, will no doubt cause the gamer section of the fandom to nod their heads in approval. Anyone who's played Jedi, Star Wars Fallen Order — I have not played Jedi, Star Wars Fallen Order, or Jedi Survivor. I know the whole story because I've seen people play it and stream it. I've also just like watched all the cutscenes. People will usually put them together so you can watch it like a whole long movie. First of all, I don't have a console that would play it. I would love to play it. Looks really, really fun. But I do know Cal, how awesome he is, and Cal and Marin and Seer and a whole bunch of other... Oh, BD-1, obviously, awesome droid. Anyone who's played Jedi Star Wars Fallen Order and Star Wars Jedi Survivor is no doubt familiar with the game's fondness for using orbs as keys, components in various puzzles the protagonist, Ahsoka's fellow Order 66 survivor, Cal Kestis, has to solve. I do remember this. I'm talking all spoilers, so yeah, there is a portion of the game, and I can't even give the full details, but I do know Cal has to move these orbs around in order to like unlock the next door to get to the next level of the game. So the orbs very much reminiscent of that. Let's actually look it up. Let's look Cal Kestis orbs. Images. Yep. Here you go. Hey, where's the image? Yep, there's Cal with his orbs. I wonder if we'll ever get Cal Kestis in live action. I'd love to see him. I think he'd be a really cool addition. Hey, where'd my tab? There it is. Fulcrum call sign means more than you think. It says Ahsoka's mission to acquire the map orb may be successful, but the mood takes a sudden turn for the dark when Home One contacts the ship to deliver that Morgan Elsbeth has escaped. However, the brief call also includes a reference to arguably carries more historical weight than anything Elsbeth can possibly hope to achieve in Ahsoka. When Huyang answers the Home One call, he identifies Ahsoka's ship by call sign Fulcrum. If you've kept up with the live-action side of Star Wars franchise, this is just a word. If you're familiar with the animated series, though, you may very well recognize the significance of the term. Fulcrum is the designation of an important, influential faction of rebel agents who contributed heavily to toppling the Empire and their ranks. Yes, so we know that Fulcrum is a code name that Ahsoka used, that, what's his name? David Oyelowo's character, Callus, Agent Callus used that, and I don't know if it shows, let's see if it says here. Yeah, Cassian Andor also used the call sign Fulcrum. I don't know if that's in a book or a comic, but I know that is confirmed that he used that moniker as well. The mural, oh my gosh. When I saw this in pictures and videos from Star Wars Celebration, I was like, that is so cool that they have the real thing, a big mural from the show, looking exactly like it was in that finale of Rebels, and then to see it actually being used in the show that's really, really cool. And I've seen it used at some other conventions. I know they brought it to San Diego Comic-Con. I'm not sure if it's been to anyone beyond that. I don't doubt it would be more used for Southern California-based conventions. I would love to see Cal live action. That would be amazing. Oh yeah, for sure. When Governor Ryder, oh yes, Ryder Azadi. So to bring back Ryder Azadi, yes. Do they have side by side? Yes. So to bring back Ryder Azadi, played by here we go. Played by Clancy Brown. That was really, really cool. A nice surprise. Clancy Brown voiced the character in Star Wars Rebels, and he doesn't name himself, right? He doesn't say I am Governor Azadi or something like that. At least not that I remember, but just when I heard the voice, I was like, okay, I know who that is, because that voice is very distinctive. And he looks like the character, so I think that was an easy sell to make him the live-action version. Back to Looper. Known as the Spectres mural. Oh, I didn't even know if it had a name like that. The Spectres mural. Makes sense, because they're all codenamed Spectre 1 through 6, I believe. The mural Sabine Wren painted this picture of the titular squad near the end of Star Wars Rebels, and visited it just before embarking on the journey for Ezra. Accurate appearance well essentially confirms that the show isn't hiding its roots, and when it comes to minor updates for those who know its history, it also provides a potential explanation for why Sabine avoids the ceremony. 2 flyover scenes, 2 different vibes. Okay, speaking of Star Wars Rebels, the viewers who remember the show's final moments might get a deja vu during the Ahsoka episode 1 scene where the main character's T6 shuttle flies over Sabine's tower. Yep, so that was also shot for shot. Well, not exactly, but very close, very similar to that final episode of Rebels. So I'm glad that clears up where that is in the timeline. That they're just mirroring it to show you that it's overlapping with that. Ahsoka, however, finds the former master and apprentice in far cooler terms, with Sabine barely willing to tolerate Ahsoka and the Togruta openly lamenting how difficult their relationship has become. Yep. We saw that. I mean, she's a Mandalorian, so it's I think they're all kind of stubborn not stuck in their ways. I think they all just have their own way of thinking. We see it with Bo-Katan. A little bit with Din Djarin. I mean, he is very, because the first time he meets Bo-Katan, he's rejecting that there would be other Mandalorians who took off their helmet. As of the end of Master Apprentice, it's unclear what happened to wreck the pair's relationship. For now, all we know is that Mandalorian Season 2 already showed that Ahsoka has never stopped trying to find Thrawn, while Sabine seems to have stayed on Lothal for quite some time. It's still pretty clear that the pair's front relationship will be repaired before long, and when this happens, don't be surprised if we get more subtle references to Rebel scenes. I really hope so. Night Sister revealed. So this was something that was speculated pretty early on from like the first trailer. They had seen Morgan Elsbeth. Obviously, we saw her first in Mandalorian Season 2, the same episode where Ahsoka made her live-action debut. But people kind of noticed like the red robes, the symbol on her forehead, and then there was even some green smoke. And people started speculating that she may be a Night Sister. And then she reveals that, yes, that she is descendant from them. And she's a survivor, as she says. But that's really cool. So that we have a live action Night Sister, our first ever one. So, I mean, if they have her, who's to say we don't have Marin from the Jedi, Survivor and Fallen Order games? When we first meet her in Mandalorian Season 2, Morgan Elsbeth rules the city of Calodan as a magistrate, and she's surprisingly tough, actually. After her forces fail, she decides to battle Ahsoka herself, armed with little more than attitude and serious skills with a Beskar spear. And I know what's going to happen now. I know people are going to say, okay, then why didn't she use her magic to fight Ahsoka? I don't know. I think it's fine. I mean, she showed that she was very skilled with the Beskar spear versus Ahsoka and her lightsabers. In Ahsoka Episode 1, we finally find out the leader of the random Imperial holdout. Oh man, okay, there we go. Holdout is as skilled as Elsbeth. As it turns out, she's more than just Thrawn's old lackey. She casually mentions that she's also one of the Night Sisters of Dathomir. This powerful group of Dark Force users is ominous presence in Star Wars The Clone Wars. I see a bit of it in Rebels too. Still offhand revelation. Oh, and even Shin makes like a reference. She's like, witches? And I think that's like for the audience who may have not kept up with it. He's like, they're going to be like, witches in Star Wars? Well, it's been there the whole time, people. I mean, it's literally, the Jedi are literally space wizards, and I think they even call them wizards throughout the movies and even in some of the live action stuff. So that's the end of that article. Well, that was great. Gave me no physical Easter eggs other than Ryder Azadi, and that wasn't even the main piece of that article. But some good insight nonetheless, some good talking points. Close that out. Let's see what... Well, that's episode 1 and 2. I just want episode 1 for now. I think I had found one over here. 10 Easter eggs from Ahsoka episode 1 you may have missed. Okay, let's see what this says. We are no Jedi. Okay, so that was in the trailer. Not necessarily some new information, but yes, we do get the line from Baylan Skoll saying, "We are no Jedi," referencing Ahsoka saying that she is no Jedi in her battle with Vader in Star Wars Rebels. And I kind of like predicted how that would go down because the New Republic officer saying, "You are no Jedi," I said, oh, that's where this line is going to come in. He's going to say, like, "Yes, you're right." And he said it very menacingly. So, again, props to Ray Stevenson. 2 episodes in, and I think he's really doing well with the role. Beelin Skull's hallway fight, so we already know that. Ahsoka's lightsaber trick, we already know that. Fulcrum, we already know that. You see, okay, here we go. Ryder Azadi and Jai Kell. So at the ceremony on Lothal, fans saw two characters from Rebels in live action for the first time. Ryder Azadi as the governor of Lothal during the Empire's reign, and was later instrumental in the Battle of Lothal. Jai Kell, a friend of Ezra Bridger, who after deserting the Imperial Academy joined the rebellion on Lothal in the time since Rebels finale. Ryder has become governor again, and Jai has risen to the role of senator. Yeah, so that second character I did not catch. Jai Kell Star Wars. See what happens. Images. And so Jai Kell, yeah, he was at the Imperial Academy in that episode with Ezra, and he does defect because then we see him there younger, and then he comes back in a later season older and joins the rebellion. And then so here he is, actually, much older, a good, let's see, Rebels to this, a good 15 years at least. 15 years older and being a senator there on Lothal. So we get two live-action versions of Rebels characters, one played by the voice actor and the other is not. I forget his name, but I do remember the voice actor for Jai Kell in the animated series, but not, this is not him. But still good to see. Or was that this one? So that's something I can write down, something I may put into a reel to put on Instagram. Let's see what we got here. Sabine's mural, we already know that. Communications tower. Is that really an Easter egg? It's a communications tower. It's on Lothal. And let's see. The tower that Sabine now calls home is the same one that Ezra Bridger once lived in before he joined the Rebels crew. Well, actually, okay, now when you put it that way, that is, I would say that's an Easter egg because I did not connect those dots. I thought she was just living in one of the many comms towers. I did not expect it to be the same one. A collection of stormtrooper helmets is visible in the background of the room, yes, okay, which Ezra used to collect. Although they are no longer prominently displayed, Sabine has preserved many of her old possessions, like the helmets. But she has also made her space her own by adding distinctive doodles to the walls. Yep, because we know her passion for art. Ezra's goodbye message. Sabine finds the old hologram recording of Ezra during the episode, while fans have never heard the contents of this message before. Okay, that's good. I thought they were, when I read this headline, I thought they were going to say that was the same message that we heard in the Rebels finale, which it wasn't. This is clearly a separate message meant only for Sabine. Never heard the contents of this message. The scene recalls a similar one from the end of Rebels when Ezra sacrificed himself to save the planet. He's going. The second message could be seen as a continuation of the first recording. Sabine seems to believe that Ezra is asking her to come find him, and the new message may also encourage her to become a Jedi like him on that journey. But why would Ezra encourage that? He would have to have some knowledge that she might be Force sensitive. Night Sisters of Dathomir. We already know what that is. Ezra's lightsaber. So I might... I'll write it down for future reference. But yes, so we do know this little bit of information here now. So when the trailer first came out, it was like right around the time that they released Ezra's lightsaber in Galaxy's Edge for sale at Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities, or I'm pretty sure there's two other shops. There's a shop in downtown Disney in California also that sells lightsabers. But regardless, they release it for sale to the public, and then we see the trailer and we see Sabine with a green lightsaber, and everyone just assumed it was Ahsoka's. So we have that. Disney releases the lightsaber. We see the trailer, and everyone assumes that it's Ahsoka's. But then at San Diego Comic-Con, they have props from the show on display, and they have the lightsaber that we see Sabine using in the show on display, and it's labeled as Sabine's lightsaber, and we see the differences as opposed to Ezra's lightsabers. So now we're thinking, okay, totally new lightsaber. And now finally that the show's released, we get the confirmation from Hu Yang that it is Ezra's lightsaber with Sabine's modifications, making it her own, like he says in the show. And I'm glad we got that cleared up, because I really wanted I love lightsabers. That's just one of my favorite parts of lore in Star Wars. So to get that confirmation that it is Ezra's, but with some customizations, I actually really do like that. Let's catch up with chat here. Sabine and Ezra, yeah. See, I thought it was the same one, but I just assumed. Mm-hmm. Is there any information about Ezra out there to tell us where he is? No. Yeah, because with the ending of Rebels, they really wanted to leave that ambiguous. They wanted to, Dave Filoni wanted to save that story for another day and never really put it out there. All the information we're going to need about Ezra is going to come from Rebels and any new information we see in this show. It's going to be, there's stuff about the unknown regions here and there, because that's kind of what where we know Thrawn and Ezra to be when they blasted off with the space whales, Purgles, but it's not going to be like super specific information about it. Many years ago, she trained to use the Darksaber. Yep. And that's it there. Okay, so Ezra's lightsaber, giant kill, communications tower. So I'll chalk that down as 3 Easter eggs. So 3 primary Easter eggs so far that are prime Easter eggs, not really, not just references. Gotta hydrate. Ahsoka series premieres 8 Easter eggs you may have missed in the first 2 episodes. Well, I'm going to have to be going through some articles that talk about both episodes, but I want to stick to the ones that talk about each episode individually first here. Ahsoka episode 1, Easter egg and breakdown. Are they not numbered? Is it just like one long article? Yeah, okay. I'm just going to skim through it real quick. Ahsoka seeking the map. Okay, so yeah, continuation from Mandalorian Season 2, where we meet Ahsoka for the first time. Now, 1 second. Sorry about that. Okay, nothing there. So Ahsoka Tano captured Morgan Elsbeth as an ally of Thrawn. Yep, we get that big reveal of where is Grand Admiral Thrawn. That really got people excited. I mean, Mandalorian Season 2, not only to bring Ahsoka to live action, but to confirm that the storyline of Rebels is continuing, that she is looking for Thrawn, and thus, by extension, Ezra. So glad they did that. And it gave you just enough of a tease to get you excited for future series. Oops. Meanwhile, a ship approaches the New Republic transport Elsbeth is a prisoner on, and the signal is given the old Jedi clearance code. We are no Jedi. Ahsoka arrives. Ancient knights built by the Knights Sisters of Dathomir. Ghostly voices cries out. She unlocks the star map. Huyang, played by David Tennant, who is also Doctor Who, and Barty Crouch Jr. Ahsoka is attacked by the HK series assassin droids. These droids were the riot-controlled tampons. First appeared in the video game Star Wars The Old Republic, yeah. I know there's a lot of Knights of the Old Republic fans out there who are excited to see some of those elements come into live action and back into canon. Fulcrum was a title used by several rebel informants. Harrison Dula, Governor Azadi, Jai Kell, Sabine Wren, racing to her bike, the road away from town. She pulls out Fast and the Furious move to escape. Fast and the Furious, yes. There are Lothcats, yep. Her jacket patch is the Republic Navy. Is that what that is? I guess so. I'm not very familiar with some of these symbols. She is living on the communication tower, Ezra's former home. Her Mandalorian helmet can be seen under the table. Sabine replays the last message Ezra sent to her. On the walls, there are drawings of Lothcats and Lothwolves. Balin Shin and Morgan Elsbeth are at the Night Savior's ancient temple. Elsbeth reveals she is a witch. The star map was found in Arcana, a known stronghold of witches. He recognizes Balin Skull's hilt since it was unique. He says Balin disappeared at the end of the Clone Wars. So I do like that a lot from Huyang, going back to his first appearance in Star Wars The Clone Wars, where he's showing younglings how to build their saber. He's very much, if you're also a Harry Potter fan, he's very much the Ollivander of the Star Wars universe. I mean, the way he talks about lightsabers to the younglings, even just like the way David Tennant kind of intonates his voice in certain ways. You see the influence very clear there. And he says he doesn't recognize Shin's. So that makes me think like it's a whole new lightsaber that whenever Balin took her on as her apprentice, that she built her own, but the shape and the design are still very similar to Kanan's. I really hope there's there. Yeah, I really want to get rid of that, and I don't know how. Oh, there we go. There we go. He says Balin disappeared at the end of the Clone Wars. Does that happen? I have never seen that happen on anyone else's, but I guess it can. Oh gosh. I'm really sorry. I hope you guys don't hear that too loudly. Come on. I don't even know where it is. Okay, there it goes. Alright, so HK Assassin Droids, Ezra's lightsaber modified, and Shin Sabine, and leads her to die. Yep, that's exactly what happened. Alright, so that just went through the whole episode. No, this is not the one I want. I gotta remember not to go through this one, because it's good information. Maybe I can do it here. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna move on from this one. Alright, so let's see. Star Wars Ahsoka Episode 1 and 2 Easter Eggs Explained. There's never been a Star Wars show quite as jam-packed with Easter eggs and references as Ahsoka. And yeah, That is so true. Especially with Dave Filoni running, he's gonna reference the animated series, and him being just such a lover of Star Wars and a big Star Wars nerd, he's gonna want to pack it with even the most subtle of references. I mean, he's already been doing it in Mandalorian. Here's all the biggest Easter eggs pointed out from Master and Apprentice and Toil and Trouble. All right. You see, how can you tell me that Natasha Liu Bordizzo, like the name of the actress is an Easter egg. 2 episodes in, very clear how much the Mandalorian warrior Sabine Wren is about. Sabine Wren is about Ahsoka herself. The character was introduced in Rebels animated series, originally voiced by Tia Sakar, and is playing live action by Natasha Liu Bordizzo, who got her start in 2016's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Sword of Destiny. In Ahsoka, which takes place about a decade after the events of Rebels, we meet Sabine, who is still struggling with the loss of Ezra Bridger. A decade after, yeah, I mean, for her to still be struggling with that loss 10 years later, I mean, that just shows how much it affected her. I wonder if we'll get to see any other Mandalorians. I mean, I follow this podcast called Thank the Maker Podcast, and they are obviously just big in Star Wars, and they put out these little bingo boards for each of the hosts. And basically what it is like, all of them are taking bets on what will happen in the show, any reveals, any special appearances, and obviously as each episode goes on, they'll tick something off and see if they were correct. One of them is that like Luke Skywalker will appear, Rex will come back, Loth Wolves. Yeah, we haven't seen Loth Wolves. We saw Loth Cats. But I think Loth Wolves, would be like a bigger reveal somewhere. A flashback to Order 66, and we've been getting that a lot with Grogu and in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show as well. So an Order 66 flashback is, I would say, is a big possibility. The Bendu from Rebels, Yoda appears. Yeah, it's all these appearances that they're betting on happening or not happening. And there's a lot of really cool ones in there, so we'll see if any of those actually come to pass. Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Harrison Dula, Lars Mikkelsen as Grand Admiral Thrawn, even though we didn't see him in this episode. Iman Esfandi as Ezra Bridger. David Tennant as Huyang. Clancy Brown as Governor Nazadi. Vinnie Thomas as Jai Kell. Okay, recurring character. Jai Kell returns this time in live action. And as Senator Athal, Ezra first met him on a mission to infiltrate the Imperial Academy. And Kell was a cadet there before eventually joining the Lothal Resistance after a run-in with the Grand Inquisitor, originally voiced by Dante. Oh, there it is. That's his name. Dante Bosco. That was the voice actor for Jai Kell in Rebels, and then played in Ahsoka by Vinnie Thomas. Morgan Elsbeth, the Night Sisters, and Dathomir. Pathway to Pervidia, the Eye of Sion, the outbound flight. Alright, Morgan's plan to find Thrawn involves using special starship called the Eye of Sion to navigate the pathway to Pervidia, a space route that leads to either the farthest reaches of this galaxy or a completely different one. This is the first time. This is the first time we've heard of Pervidia in Star Wars. Okay, so that's not going to be in any books or comics or past shows. Even Baylan Skoll says that it's a fairy tale told back at the Jedi Temple. That said, the concept of galaxies beyond the one where the rest of Star Wars is set is not new to the saga. In fact, it was Thrawn creator Timothy Zahn who first mentioned Outbound Flight, a failed Jedi exploration mission meant to seek out life beyond the known galaxy. It's probably not an accident that the Eye of Sion sort of resembles the ring design of Outbound Flight. When I saw that ring design, my mind immediately went to the hyperspace rings that the Jedi starfighters use in Attack of the Clones. The name Eye of Sion also references the name of a non-canon Sith Lord, Darth Sion, from the video game Knights of the Old Republic. Chopper, good seeing Chopper there. He nailed that throw. And I hope Hera didn't go through his stuff. I doubt Hera would go through his stuff. Ultimately, Chopper is incredibly loyal, and his heart is in the right place, but he can also be very difficult and loves to argue. Lothal, Corellia obviously being the homeworld of Han Solo, and Kira from Solo: A Star Wars Story. The Millennium Falcon is a Corellian freighter known for its massive shipyards. The T6 shuttle Ahsoka uses to get around the first debuted in the Clone Wars. It was one of several ships used by the Jedi Order in the prequel era. Ahsoka's specific ship appeared in the series finale of Star Wars Rebels. Yeah, but we had seen a T6 shuttle before, and I know there's the Lego set that came out. I don't even know the year, but it's been way back in the day when people heard that this show was coming out and that there was going to be another T6 shuttle Lego. They were already talking about comparing it, reviewing it, and I've already seen a couple of those with Ahsoka's T6 shuttle coming out, and some people getting it early. But the older one, I think, was used by Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, and Anakin sometime during the Clone Wars. Fulcrum, yes, we already know about Fulcrum. The Phantom, which is, Phantom 2, actually, because the first Phantom was destroyed, and then Phantom 2, Chopper found it sometime later in Rebels. Merrick. Merrick, looking like an Inquisitor and looking like the 8th brother. I don't know if anyone else had noticed that. 8th brother, Star Wars. Oh, keep that there. Merrick. I mean, it's not exactly the same, and I doubt... it could be. It wouldn't be a stretch, because, the helmet design is similar. He's an Inquisitor. He's got this armor. Yeah, I mean, he's got some similar designs. But he just stood there and looked cool the whole time. He had his cape. He had his spinning lightsaber. He's got his cool helmet. Didn't say a word. Put up a fight against Ahsoka. Yeah, I think Merrick's really, really cool. And the thing about, the 8th brother is that, we didn't see him die. He tried to use his helicopter saber to fly away, and it malfunctioned. Yeah, because who was it? Ahsoka and Kanan both were able to slice at it and make it malfunction. So when he tried to fly away with it, he just plummeted, and we didn't see him after that. And I know people are speculating that it might be Ezra under there, but I mean, I think that's a stretch for that means Ezra would have had to turn to the dark side, and then somehow find an Inquisitor's lightsaber, and then be around, because clearly Baylan and Shin have worked with this Merrick for a long time. who was it? Like Balin said, Morgan Elsbeth says something, and Balin says, "Oh, I trust Merrick. He'll get the job done." So they've clearly worked together for a while. I think that's just quite a stretch for now, unless they actually reveal it and give us the backstory of how that happened. Someone from the past hiding under the mask. Yes, yes. Opening crawl. Yes, we get the opening crawl in red because, this very much is leading into the sequel trilogy. We have the remnants of the Empire coming together to form that shadow collective that we saw at the end of Mandalorian Season 3. We see General Hux's father, who we know was instrumental to starting the First Order. And while this is about Ahsoka and, we might get a nice happy reunion at the end, we know dark times are coming because I don't even think Thrawn will die in this series. I think Thrawn will be around for at least maybe going into Dave Filoni's movie later on. But we know even if the villains of this specific era are defeated, something bigger is on the horizon. All right, let's see. The return of the opening crawl. Imperial remnants, like I just mentioned. The Shadow Collective. This is the scene from Mandalorian Season 3. Setting up the return of Thrawn. Ahsoka brings back familiar characters. I mean, like we didn't already see that in the trailer. Traditional Star Wars opening shot. Okay, yeah, I'm glad someone else pointed this out as well. In the beginning of the first ever Star Wars, what we now know as A New Hope, but back then just simply known as Star Wars, we get the opening crawl, and then we get the ship, the Tantive 4, which is the ship that Princess Leia was on, flying across the screen, followed by the Imperial Star Destroyer, where we get this, that sense of foreboding, and we see how massive this ship, the Star Destroyer, is compared to Leia's ship. And we get something similar here, where we see Home 1 fly across the screen, very much an homage to that. George Lucas always liked his Star Wars movies with spaceships across the screen, giving a sense of scale to the action. Exactly, that's exactly what that original scene is doing, and what any scene like this one is referencing, trying to give you the scale of the ship. With an opening shot of Ahsoka Episode 1, showing a New Republic prison transport in the time-honored way. It's transporting a high-ranking Imperial prisoner, Morgan Elsbeth, to Home 1, the modified MC-805 heavy star cruiser that served as the Rebel Alliance's flagship. Baylan Skoll's new Darth Vader. Yes, we've heard that before. Return of Morgan Elsbeth, Night Sister of Dathomir. Yes. Lady Morgan's rescue is a dark echo of A New Hope. Oh, okay, so I see what they're going for here. They're trying to parallel Han and Luke pretending to be stormtroopers to rescue Princess Leia, with Baylan and Shin pretending to be Jedi by using a Jedi code to go and rescue, or go and break out Morgan Elsbeth. Okay, I can see that parallel. That's a good one. This is more than just a Star Wars Easter egg, though. It speaks of Morgan and the one she is working to find as a new hope of the Empire. A New Hope of the Empire. Yes, so I see the parallels continuing. So Princess Leia in the prison cell, They need to rescue her so that she can get the plans to the Rebel Alliance to help defeat the Empire. Morgan Elsbeth, they have to break her out to find Thrawn to bring back the Empire. Uh-huh. I like that a lot. That is very good parallels. I mean, as George Lucas liked to say, it's like poetry, it rhymes. Should Morgan's quest succeed, the galaxy will be threatened. So give us the Night Sister Temple on Arcana. We got that. Night Sister Temple is reminiscent of the Jedi Fallen Order's Zepho. Oh, let's look that up. Zepho Star Wars. Images. Oh, here we go. Okay, so yeah. And I think Zepho is where you meet Marin for the first time? I'm not entirely sure, but okay, I can see what they're going for, what the parallels they're trying to draw there. So you see same kind of remnants, similar architecture. And it is a Night Sister base or temple. Yeah, I thought about this too. Okay, so the 3 statues honor the 3 gods of Mortis. Do they have any pictures? No, they don't. Okay, so yeah, the images on the walls when Ahsoka's trying to unlock the map, they very much resemble the father, the son, and the daughter from Mortis. And then we see them on this mural in Star Wars Rebels. The Mortis arc was in Star Wars: The Clone Wars. It did remind me of this, but I didn't see anything definitive. But again, the Night Sisters do use the Force or tap into the Force to do their magic. So they have to have some sort of belief in the higher powers of the Force, like the father, son, and the daughter. So it wouldn't be surprising to me if they used similar imagery there. Ahsoka's star map is called back to Legends Rakata. Okay, let's see what this is about. Some viewers have theorized that Grand Admiral Thrawn has allied with a race called the Rakata, whose infinite empire conquered the galaxy in Legends. Certainly, the star map retrieved in Ahsoka is similar to those associated with the Rakata in Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. A lot of people are drawing parallels here to the Knights of the Old Republic games. I'm not super familiar with that, so I can't say for sure or say that I'm confident in drawing those parallels. It remains to be seen whether this is simply a Star Wars Easter egg or a clue. David Tennant is Huyang, Jedi droid last seen in Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Ahsoka used the dark side mind probe to learn the map's location. Is that actually what she said? Let's see. Huyang asked Ahsoka how she managed to get Morrison to give it the location of the map. Her response suggests that she used the Force power known as the mind probe, one that's traditionally viewed as a dark side. Okay, I know what they're talking about. So like when, one that's traditionally seen as dark side due to its invasive nature. That's interesting that they would put that, because I mean when they're talking about like using the Force powers to read someone's mind, which we see Kylo Ren do with Rey in The Force Awakens, but we do see it in Star Wars: The Clone Wars with Anakin, Mace Windu, and Ahsoka. They're all trying to get information out of Cad Bane, and they're, I forget exactly what the information they're looking for is, but they're saying something like, "You will tell us the location," and Cad Bane is there trying to resist the whole time. But yeah, so it's. I mean, I don't think that's a stretch at all to say that. I mean, she did say that like, I didn't use a Jedi method to get the location or to get the information out of her. Oh, if I would have just kept reading. Here it is. The Jedi did authorize the use of mind probes on prisoners during the Clone Wars, but those were treated as an indication of their descent into the dark side. Yep. Ahsoka still goes by her Fulcrum code name. Ahsoka ship. Oh, here we go. Ahsoka ship is T61974, and 1974 is Dave Filoni's birth year. So there is another Easter egg that I can add to the list. Ahsoka approaches Home 1 for a rendezvous with General Syndulla and identifies her ship's registration number as apparently T61974, an appropriate one given Ahsoka's creator Dave Filoni was born on June 7th, 1974. This one is one of the more amusing Easter eggs in Ahsoka. Ahsoka Episode 1 features a cameo from Admiral Akbar, does it? I was trying to think of that. So it's like we see some Mon Calas, and then Home 1 is the ship that Admiral Akbar used in the original trilogy. So let's see what it says. Home 1 was the Rebel Alliance flagship in Return of the Jedi, yes, and presumably serves the same role with the New Republic Defense Fleet. It was typically commanded by Admiral Akbar, the rebellion's most valued tactician, famous for shouting, "It's a trap," when the second Death Star opened fire. Akbar actually makes a cameo here, asking Hera to join the meeting. Really? Okay, let me see if I can catch that. So I have just before that scene pulled up here. Okay. So Huyang, Ahsoka, and Hera are there looking at the hologram, trying to figure out who Baylan and Shin are. Let's see if I can fast forward a little bit here. The design of the set to make it look like the kind of the briefing room that we see in Return of the Jedi, I think that's really, really great choice. And again, it's Home 1, so it's the same place, and it looks great. And it does remind me of the Galactic Star Cruiser. The Galactic Star Cruiser did very much have a lot of... I'm sure they took inspiration from this, but when I was there, this is more of the design that it reminded me of. Okay, maybe it was a little bit before this. Trying to find... Okay, yeah. Also, did anyone... I don't know if anyone else thought of this, but when... so Ahsoka arrives on her ship, and then Hera's there to greet her, and then Ahsoka starts walking towards Hera, and I noticed the height difference between Ahsoka and Hera, and I was thinking, like, is it really that much of a difference? And maybe I just never noticed it in Rebels, or maybe if just Mary Elizabeth. Well, no, because they wouldn't really base it on the actor's height too much. They would try to base it on what we've seen before. But Ahsoka comes up a little past Hera's shoulder, but then Hera is probably like maybe a forehead at least, or half a head taller than her. I would have thought they were like, I would just like assume that they were the same height. Yeah, she's looking down at Ahsoka, which is crazy to think. And let's see what I got here. I'm still looking to see if that's Admiral Akbar. But especially because this is the first article I've seen that is saying that. Oh gosh. Okay, moving to the backup. There we go. Hopefully everyone still sees me, and hopefully everyone still sees my screen and can hear me. Let's maybe there's a way I can plug in this camera to keep it charged. Okay, it says Akbar actually makes a cameo here asking Hera to join a meeting. Where? And is this in episode 1 or episode 2? Because I should only be looking for episode 2 Easter eggs. Episode 1 Easter eggs. I'm going to go up for episode 2 probably tomorrow. Probably go live again tomorrow. So Ahsoka returns to Lothal in live action. Yes. So we get the mirroring of the scene there. I can see and hear everything. Thank you, Tina, for confirming that. Unexpected return of Governor Azadi and Senator Jai Kell. I already know that. I already know about the mural. Okay, so this is an Easter egg, but this was already shown in the trailer. That this ship right here that chases Ahsoka, that chases Sabine down. This is an E-wing, and it's the first time we see it in canon. The only other time that E-wings had been quote-unquote seen or really just mentioned, I guess seen on the cover art, would be in Star Wars novels of Legends novels that are no longer canon. And really, I think people misconstrue that, and like the books before the Disney acquisition were never really canon. George Lucas kind of just put his stamp of approval to release them, to continue some Star Wars stories, but he always reserved the right to say hey, if I make more movies, I'm not going to listen to the books. They were just the books were always meant to be things that might have happened or could have happened, never meant to be hard canon facts. But yeah, but this E-wing does take from the Legends books. Lothcat, yep. I see a lot of people saying that this thing stole the show. I mean, if it's an animatronic, it's amazing. If it's a puppet, it's amazing. It looks so real, so great. I really hope they have some toys of this. I'm sure they will have lots of plush toys ready in Galaxy's Edge for people to buy these. Ahsoka recreates and retcons Star Wars Rebels epilogue. Are they talking about the cape? Or the robe? Yeah. So that's what the people are talking about. How at the end of Star Wars Rebels, we see her in the white robe with the staff, and here where they're recreating it, she's in the gray robe without the staff. I really don't see it as a big deal at all, really. Inquisitor Merritt makes his debut. Morgan meant to fight her way to Force sensitive. My fave, the Lothcats. Excited to see the Lothcats live, yeah. And they look great. They did a really great job with the design. So hopefully we get to see more creatures, because Star Wars and their creature design has always just been really fantastic. So to see the Lothcat, hopefully we get to see some Loth wolves and and the Purrgil. We're going to see a Purrgil live action. That should be really cool to see. Mark is clearly one of the more skilled Inquisitors. He put up a fight against Ahsoka because he gives Ahsoka a run for her money in episode 2. He wields the traditional Inquisitor's helicopter saber. Yeah, here we go. Let's zoom in on this. Enhance. Let's put Kanan Jarrus lightsaber. Let me get a better angle on this. There's Kanan's. And there's Shin. So it has that little lip here before it keeps going up. Obviously, it's not the exact same. Kanan's lightsaber would have had to been recovered from the explosion that where he sacrificed himself. Again, not a stretch, but not confirmed either at this point. Shin's probe droid positions her as a Darth Maul figure. I had thought of this as well. This imagery very much reminded me the first time we see Darth Maul in The Phantom Menace, where he's kind of spying on Qui-Gon and the rest and waiting for his chance to attack. Shin uses a probe droid to track Sabine in a scene that seems deliberately reminiscent of Darth Maul tracking the Jedi on Tatooine in Episode 1. Baylan is being coded as Darth Vader, but Shin seems to be styled after Darth Maul. The return of Star Wars HK Assassin Droids, tremendous KOTOR reference. And for anyone who doesn't know, KOTOR is just the acronym here for Knights of the Old Republic, which was a big popular video game back early 2000s, I think. Not quite sure. Ahsoka senses the past and abilities similar to Cal Kestis' Sense Echo. Yeah, I can see that. I want to say this is the same thing as what's known as Force psychometry, because that would be kind of what we see Cal go through, where like you enter a place or you touch an object and you're able to see visions of whatever that object had been through and who it interacted with. And we see that with Cal, we see that with Rey. We're getting a little bit here with Ahsoka. She's not getting, well, maybe she is getting visions and we're just not seeing them because she is closing her eyes, but we do hear some of what she can feel through the Force. You see here, Cal needed to make physical contact with the object or crouch down to touch the soil to sense what happened in the place or an object. Ahsoka goes a step further, simply using the Force to experience the past as she walks through the old Lothal communications tower. We return to Han Solo's homeworld of Corellia. The Star Wars galaxy has been visited by extragalactic aliens. So yeah, just referencing that where Thrawn and maybe Ezra is another separate galaxy than the main galaxy that we're in. These outer regions or this outbound area of the universe in Star Wars. Morgan Elsbeth uses Night Sister magic. Yep, this is something we had seen in some trailers and what led to the speculation that she would be a Night Sister with the green smoke, very reminiscent of the Night Sisters in Clone Wars and Rebels and Jedi Fallen Order and books and comics and many, many other things. Here we go. Morgan Elsbeth's ship is adapted from Star Wars Legends Outbound Flight. Okay, so we just read this in the previous article. Morgan Elsbeth's Eye of Sion, possibly named after the Legend Sith Lord, is a familiar design. She's attached hyperdrive cores from a Superstar Destroyer in a ring to generate the raw power of travel at incalculable speeds and travel between the galaxies. This is similar concept to the hyperdrive rings in Jedi Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones. And it's also reminiscent of the design of Outbound Flight in Timothy Zahn's novel of the same name. This too was designed to travel between galaxies, even if it couldn't travel at the speed Morgan's ship is likely to. So we'll probably see something kind of unprecedented. They'll probably talk about it, how like in order to get flying at light speed in the galaxy gets you from planet to planet, place to place, but going to a whole nother galaxy definitely needs some more power, which is why they're using the hyperdrive from Star Destroyers. I mean, they're huge ships, so they probably pack a punch and will probably do a great deal of traveling with this much smaller design. New Republic Defense Fleet retcons something from the Force Awakens. Hera makes a throwaway reference to the New Republic Defense Fleet, a significant retcon because it had previously believed that the New Republic had demilitarized by this point in the Star Wars timeline. Yeah, because they do talk about that in Mandalorian. The existence of the New Republic Defense Fleet was confirmed in Star Wars timelines by Kristen Baver, Jason Fry, Cole Horden, Amy Rishow, Clayton Sandell, which reveals it is destined to be obliterated by the First Order in Star Wars The Force Awakens, along with the Hosnian Prime. Okay, so they're saying that why is there resistance, and why does the New Republic not have something that can help protect itself from the First Order, and it's probably going to get destroyed somewhere in these new shows and movies that we're going to get. Return of the Phantom and the Ghost. Sabine's transformation is beautiful. Star Wars Rebels homage to Kanan. Yes, I know a lot of people had already noticed this from the trailer, but like the way she's sitting there, very meditative, very similar to Kanan, and then she takes a knife to cut off her hair just like Kanan does. And I think that's a very beautiful reference. Commit herself to the Jedi with a ritualistic haircut. Yep. Oh, so she's cutting her hair. I mean, she always had short hair in the Rebel series, but here, yeah, it is saying that she's going to commit to being a Jedi by having the short hair like all the Padawans have. It signified his preparation for the final mission that would lead to his death. Hopefully Sabine's fate differs in Ahsoka. The heroes track Lady Morgan to the Deneb sector. Okay, what's this? The heroes successfully track Lady Morgan to the planet Cetos in the Deneb system. While Cetos is a new world, the Deneb system is a deep cut in Star Wars lore as it was introduced in Star Wars Rebellion game back in 1998. Situated on the outer rim, the Deneb system is part of the Sluis sector, which also includes Dagobah. Oh, okay. So that's cool that they bring back something. And they also brought back something similar to that in Andor. I know the blaster Andor was used by the main character in an older Star Wars video game. Ahsoka's end credits are tied to the Sith language. Ahsoka's end credits are clearly inspired by the star map, a visual representation of the pathway to Peridia. The words aren't written in the normal fictional Star Wars alphabet of Arabesh. Rather, they're a blend of Sith language of the Ur-Khatat and the runic alphabet sketched by legendary Star Wars concept artist Ralph McQuarrie. It's possible to translate the words Ahsoka in Ahsoka's credits, which include references to known worlds and systems. Okay, so they actually went through and decoded this. Cato Nemoidia, Duro, Dathomir, Yavin, Mandalore, Lothal, Arcana, Pisana, Peridia, Odin. Okay. That was cool. Okay, so this article is very helpful. So we got the Deneb system. I'm definitely going to take note of that. Union of Phantom of the Ghost. There was something else here. And this one, I want to make note of this just because it does very much look like the hyperspace rings from Attack of the Clones. Eight things you missed in the first 2 episodes. Morgan Elsbeth. What? 8 things you may have missed in the first 2 episodes. Morgan Elsbeth. I don't think we missed her. She was on screen. They're probably talking about like her being a Night Sister. But instead of teamed up with her own, but even now she's captured, Elsbeth kept her mouth shut about whatever she knew about Thrawn. Let me do that. Okay. 2 actors who reprised their roles. Yep, we already know that. We know about Jai Kell and Ryder Azadi. We know about HK droids, saw him in Mando Season 2, and from Knights of the Old Republic. We know what Night Sisters are. Darth Maul homage again, so yeah. Maybe I can find that. Let me find Darth Maul Phantom Menace. Oh, let me put Tatooine, actually. Tatooine. I probably spelled that wrong, yep. Phantom Tatooine. No, I just want Darth Maul Tatooine. There we go. Images. I want to see if I can find a better picture here. Here we go. So yeah, so here he is on his bike with the little floating ball. And then we have Shin here with the little floating ball. And where's the other one? Oh, there's one. Yeah, something like this. So this is definitely what they're going for with Shin in that image. Hyperdrive core from an SSD. Oh, Super Star Destroyer. There we go. I was like, what's SSD? But yeah, Super Star Destroyer. That's the acronym they're making there. While Ahsoka and Hera are investigating some of Elsbeth's former holdings on Corellia, they notice an unusually massive hyperdrive core sitting in the shipyard, so they ask the local corporate manager about it, and he tells them it's the hyperdrive core from an SSD, not talking about solid state drive here. In Star Wars, SSD is short for Super Star Destroyer. The best known example of such a ship would be the Executor, Darth Vader's gigantic flagship in The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. One moment here while I do this. Okay. The Eye of Sion. Okay, so they're going to talk about that again. Eye of Sion is apparently going to need the big hyperdrive for the journey, which he calls Mass Super Star Destroyer. Called the Eye. Wait. The key to finding Thrawn, at least according to Morgan Elsbeth, is a ship called the Eye of Sion, which is apparently going to need that big hyperdrive to make the journey. This recalls a massive Super Star Destroyer sized ship called the Eye of Palpatine from an old novel called The Children of the Jedi in the old canon. The ship was used by remnant Imperial years about a decade after the events of Return of the Jedi in a bid to revitalize the Empire, but Children of the Jedi was a particularly weird story, and the parallels probably end there. I had not heard of that one. Okay, so that's all the articles I found. Close some of this. I'm also lurking on Zach's stream. He's still playing God of War. Let's check in on him. Looks like he's in a battle. Looks like he's having some fun over there. All right. So let's go through this. I'm going to put the volume up a little bit. Let's check out what New Rockstars has to say.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Eric Voss, and this is a breakdown of Star Wars Ahsoka Episode 1, Master and Apprentice. Yet another Star Wars moment that makes Qui-Gon Jinn wish he was born just a few years later for medical technology to heal.
Yeah. So everyone likes to they make this big thing about everyone getting stabbed in the stomach now and surviving, and Qui-Gon not. And yeah, and they're like, the main argument there is that, like, yeah, the medical healing or the medical technology was just not around at that time in the prequel trilogy.
stab wounds. I am loving this series so far. It's doing some interesting stuff with Star Wars lore. I got some theories, folks. My Easter egg breakdown of episode 2 will come to this channel tomorrow, and me and Tommy's Wookiee Leaks discussion of episodes 1 and 2 are over on the Break Room channel. Please subscribe to that channel. And the SAG-AFTRA has informed us that entertainment journalists like New Rockstars are allowed to cover movies and TV shows like this during the strike, but we support these unions in getting a fair deal from the AMPTP. All right, let's get started. We open with a red Lucasfilm logo with some amazing music from composer Kevin Kiner.
Yeah, Kevin Kiner doing a great job with the score here.
All the music for Clone Wars and Rebels, but often what you heard on those shows were just leitmotifs to John Williams' Star Wars themes. But in some rare moments, especially in the later years, Kiner's true talent really came out. And here, there's this unusual percussion. Framing the story of Ahsoka is what I consider to be a story of witchcraft and astrology. Way more than I expected. Whereas normally the Lucasfilm fanfare has a mix of red and blue lights flashing over the metallic heads, now it is only the color
all red.
We see the mask of Vader, then C-3PO, then a clone trooper helmet. Could we get a Rex cameo this season?
Oh, I'd love to
Then
us to get a Rex cameo.
Droid, then the helmet of Marok,
Marok,
a mysterious new Inquisitor who joins Balin and Shin, then Hu Yang, then
Hu
a
Yang.
Stormtrooper, then Chopper, and then finally the Mandalorian Night Owl T-Visor design of the helmet of Sabine Wren. Red is also the color of a new take on the Star Wars opening crawl, which is incredible. It's red instead of yellow, and rather than bending backward into space, it just scrolls upward. So why the difference? Why the prominence of the color red here? Well, I think it's because we are in a dark era where a new narrative is being written. It's not a story of ragtag resistors bringing down an evil Goliath. Here, the good guys start the story in charge, and they are letting control slip away to the forces of evil. Now, this opening crawl catches us up with who Ahsoka is, who Morgan Elsbeth is, and who Thrawn is. Now, I've made some other videos about Thrawn, but he is awesome. Come from Timothy Zahn's 1991 Heir to the Empire Thrawn trilogy, a character who is brought back into Star Wars Rebels, an animation voiced by Lars Mikkelsen, who will play the character on this show. He's a blue-skinned chit.
The word scroll threw you off at first? I mean, I guess because like it's usually for the movies and not really in the shows.
An Imperial Admiral, a brilliant individual. We last saw him at the end of Rebels when he and Jedi Ezra Bridger were zipped off to hyperspace by a pod of Purrgil hyperspace whales. And just so we're all clear, Purrgil, P-U-R-R-G-I-L, is plural. You don't say Purrgils, just a group of them is called Purrgil. It's okay, we're all kind of on a learning curve with this show. And remember, Morgan Elsbeth is that Beskar spear-toting woman that Ahsoka Tano dueled on Corvus in The Mandalorian, which ended with Ahsoka saying,
"Where is Grand Admiral Thrawn?"
And oof, if we have to do this, Ahsoka Tano is the ex-Jedi from the Clone Wars animated series, the apprentice to Anakin Skywalker, who left the Jedi Order after being wrongfully accused of a Jedi Temple bombing, and she later came back in Star Wars Rebels as the rebel agent codenamed Fulcrum, who joined the crew of the Ghost. Look, if this is all new information to you, we are in the middle of a Rebels recap series.
Yeah, so if there's anyone out there who, first of all, I always say to go back, watch Rebels and watch Clone Wars. Especially if you're a Star Wars fan, they add so much to the lore. You learn about some new characters. But if you need some quick notes, or maybe you even just need a refresher before Ahsoka, this channel, New Rockstars, has been doing some breakdowns. They did a whole breakdown of Rebel Season 1 and Rebel Season 2. Still waiting on 3 and 4 here.
To watch those. Okay, we see a round-hulled ship with New Republic insignia passing beneath us. Not over our heads, but beneath us. This vessel is from the Mon Calamari fleet. We saw Mon Calamari ships like this in Return of the Jedi. That's why the bridge has the same swivel chair that we saw Admiral Akbar sitting in, and in Rogue One, Admiral Radish.
It's not
sitting.
tilted.
Captain Hale is
Yes,
played by
okay.
Mark Rolston, who played Drake in Aliens, and First Officer Jensen Corbett is played by Shakira Barrera, aka Yo-Yo from Glow, and the Navigator droid is voiced by Bonnie Wild, who worked in the sound department for The Mandalorian.
They're early.
It isn't Home 1.
Home 1 was Admiral Akbar's flagship in Return of the Jedi, and apparently continues as the New Republic's fleet flagship to this day. They called it Home because Mon Calamari converted their aquatic cities into starships for the Rebel fleet. The approaching ship is an Eta-class shuttle, which is significant because these were used as Jedi ambassador shuttles during the Clone Wars. It approaches
okay.
Mon Calamari's ship now with its down-facing
So that's a
wings
new
framed
one.
to look like it is
We didn't see
closing
that.
in on this ship with a vice grip. The comms officer reports,
Jedi.
and I like how that astromech droid turned and said too, like, wait the This episode is titled Master and Apprentice, referring to these hooded visitors. And yes, they do recall Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan visiting the Trade Federation ship at the
I did
beginning
think
of
about that
Phantom
too.
Menace. They are visiting
That
Jedi, but there
reference.
is something off about them. They use Jedi hardware, Jedi clearance codes, but they are not Jedi. Since Balin survived the Purge, we learned later that could explain how he has all Jedi clearance codes. Their names are Balin Skull and Shin Hati, which is significant because Skull and Hati are the names of the wolves in Norse mythology who chase the sun and the moon across the sky in hopes of devouring them. Just like these two hunt a star map line with loath wolves to chart their course across the stars. Throughout this video, I will be pointing out the significance of wolf imagery because I think these names were chosen by design. Balin is played by the late Ray Stevenson.
Yeah, I'm sure if they're named after wolves, like, you know, that's not a coincidence. Dave Filoni, I mean, Dave Filoni's character's name in The Mandalorian is Trapper Wolf. You know, he brought in the Loth Wolves in Rebels, and now he's naming these characters after wolves in Norse mythology. I don't think that's a mistake or that's by accident. When I see these kinds of videos, I always question my level of being a Star Wars fan. No, I mean, these people, I think you should understand also that, like, these people are going back and rewatching, and it's not just this guy, Eric Voss. He'll name the writers at the end, but it's like 5 people pulling their resources together, taking notes, and then you know, putting it all together to make this video. So it's a team effort. It's not just one-man show here.
This year, and it's super sad because he's so good on this show. That's why this episode ends with
Oh,
our
man.
friend Rey. Balin Skull is
To end like that,
who,
yeah.
based on his age, would have been a contemporary with Anakin Skywalker. His apprentice, Shin Hati, has a Padawan braid, telling us that despite them not being Jedi, he does train her in the Jedi tradition. They carry lightsabers, not the color red, but orange. It's a subtle distinction, but it is intentional. Dave Filoni chose this to indicate that they aren't Sith who carry red blades, they are something in between. As Shin slashes through these New Republic officers, in the foreground you see one poor officer fumbling for that blaster in his holster. These smug New Republic officers just were not expecting to fight. In the background of this hangar, you can see New Republic X-Wings and A-Wings, and they're painted blue, perhaps indicating that the Blue Squadron is back in commission since the Battle of Scarif. Balin confirms,
We are no Jedi.
Ooh,
you
the
watch
delivery
Rebels,
on that
you know
line.
This line is hugely important to Ahsoka, who had a similar line in her epic duel with Vader in the season 2 finale.
Anakin Skywalker was weak. I destroyed him.
Then I will avenge his death.
Revenge is not the Jedi way.
I am no Jedi.
This show clearly wants us to draw a parallel between Ahsoka and Balin. One master who gave up on her apprentice because she saw the nightmare extreme of the Jedi way. One master who thinks that he actually can do it right, but just doing it his own way, with orange. Kevin Kiner... Kiner uses dramatic piano chords to score Balin's slaughter.
Oh, the music. Music's so good in this
It's
scene.
so good. And
Yes.
Balin never stops moving, like Vader in the Rogue One killbox sequence. Vader also incorporated a levitating force choke. Balin even uses the force to unlock a skunk.
That was
which are
crazy. That
normally
was
so complicated only in
really,
action.
really cool to see
This
him
guy has
unlock
clearly
it.
mastered the ways of the force in ways that we haven't seen since Vader, or I guess arguably Luke Skywalker. Morgan Elsbeth's prisoner jumpsuit is numbered in Orbesh 620, and she says,
Balin, you are true to your word.
And well paid for it, Lady Morgan.
so it sounds like Morgan
You see, at that point when he said "and well paid for it," I immediately drew the conclusion, okay, that they are just mercenaries. I don't think they're necessarily loyal to Thrawn or Sith. I think they are just in it for themselves and, you know, just doing whatever they're paid to do.
set up some mercenaries to break her out if she were ever captured. Okay, on to Ahsoka Tano. She explores ruins on a planet that we later learn is called...
There's gonna be an Ahsoka skin in the spork knife. That's really cool. I think I had seen actually someone post about that. Good old sport life.
Structures built by Morgan Elsbeth's ancestors, we learn the Night Sisters of Dathomir. Morgan Elsbeth is a Night Sister of Dathomir, and this is a huge deal. The Night Sisters refer to a sect of magic-wielding female Dathomirians that included Maul's mother, Mother Talzin. This coven used their green sorcery to reanimate his legs, and the Night Sisters are awesome. Dave Filoni based them on the Witches of Dathomir from Dave Wolverton's 1994 Legends novel, The Courtship of Princess Leia, but the character, the sorceress Charal from the 1985 TV movie Ewoks: The Battle of Endor, was later retconned into a Night Sister from the illustrated Star Wars universe. So technically, they've been with us for some time. The Legends term was technically the Witches of Dathomir. With Star Wars Clone Wars, they were called the Night Sisters, but they were considered to be the same thing. And then in 2022, in the Book of Boba Fett Chapter 3, Danny Trejo's character, the Rancor Tamer, started talking about the history of Rancors, and he said this.
It is said that the Witches of Dathomir even rode them through the forest and fens.
So making...
I mean, they've always been noted as like witches and using magic. So in this in the canon, so calling them Witches of Dathomir I don't think that's a big stretch.
Elsbeth, a Night Sister, reframes her character from a samurai-inspired warrior and military leader that just supports Thrawn into more of a mystic figure who practices a different kind of sorcery than the Jedi or the Sith use. One might argue an older form of magic, which is very, very interesting for this show. It's going beyond the Jedi and Sith legend. These arcana structures were built by ancient Night Sisters, and 3 giant figures with bare feet align with the 3 inside the temple, and they are all dressed in the same kind of hooded garb that we saw Mother Talzin wearing. These ruins, you'll notice, are covered in these black sands, which at first I thought might be volcanic soil, but the way it ignites later makes me think it's kind of a black powder, maybe powdered rhydonium. The whole place was clearly rigged to blow up and keep its secrets from being found. And you'll notice the sphere she finds is buried in the same material. The Night Sisters planned for perhaps this map to never be found. Alternatively, this substance might be the ashes of Malachor, which we see on Malachor in the Rebel Season 2 finale. They are made of the burnt and pulverized bones of the Jedi and Sith who fought there and wiped themselves out. These ashes are inhaled by Sith to imbue this Sith with the dark essence trapped within the remains. Yeah, it's really messed up, but it is awesome. Again, watch Rebels. Ahsoka does this awesome move of using the Force to spin her lightsabers through the ground around her and dropping herself on that disc to the level below. And she did the same move to escape the clone troopers in the Clone Wars Season 7 finale on that crashing ship. On the walls of this temple are engravings of constellations, the 3 Night Sisters, and these spheres that 2 are holding, 1 is levitating. And again, 3 of them, mirroring the 3 witches, the weird sisters of Macbeth, which get referenced in the title of episode 2, Toil and Trouble. Ahsoka lines up these rotating pedestals, reminding us of like the Fifth Element or a puzzle that you'd play in the Tomb Raider games. Now, if Thrawn was lost in just the past decade, why would a star map to his location be buried in an ancient temple thousands of years prior?
That's what I thought too.
This map points to
it's like, how did that map get there? If, how would he even know or have the means of creating a map so that someone would find him? That's an interesting plot point.
Thrawn didn't just go to a where, he went to a when, I think. And the pathway to that when-where was lost thousands of years ago. In fact, Elsbeth's interest in Thrawn might have come from Thrawn being mentioned in old Night Sister bedtime stories that she grew up with. Could Thrawn end up being this like 1885 Dr. Emmett Brown figure that all the people at the post office were taking bets on? Ahsoka rises to find HK assassin droids waiting for her. Remember, Morgan Elsbeth used these on Corvus in that Mandalorian episode, but the way that first one was just frozen in place the moment Ahsoka hopped up is so creepy. Like it was creeping forward right until it was seen. Like you had to keep your eyes on it or it will rush at you. They fight, and these droids end up activating these thermal detonators in their chests just like they did on Corvus, and Ahsoka has to run for it and catches up with her T6 shuttle. Piloting it is Hu Yang, the Mark IV architect droid from the Jedi ship The Crucible, who appeared in Clone Wars as the professor who taught young Jedi about lightsabers and kyber crystals. I love that Ahsoka somehow tracked him down all these years after the Purge. He's voiced by David Tennant, so forgive me if I at times refer to him as Dr. Hu Yang. Now, real quick, we want to say thanks to Spin Master for sponsoring this video, as well as introduce their new brand 4D Build, featuring licensed 3D Star Wars puzzles. 4D Build makes detailed cardstock 3D puzzle model kits. If you're a Star Wars superfan who digs puzzles or wants to add your museum of Star Wars collectibles, you will love these. Everything you need to build a 3D puzzle comes in the box. You're not going to have to go hunt down a tiny screwdriver or anything like that. Each box contains a set of cardstock puzzle sheets, instructions, and a bottle of glue just in case. The instructions are super clear and easy to follow, and in about 2 to 3 hours, you can have a finished R2 unit. Now, bigger bigger puzzles take longer, but you know what they say, the Death Star wasn't built in a day. Destroyed in one, sure, but not built. There's so much attention to detail, and the puzzles are super sturdy when they're done. They are designed with replica level detail and made for showing off, which is why every model comes with a
They look
display
really,
stand.
really
To
cool.
get a 4D build Star Wars puzzle model kit of your own, just click the link in the description below or head to Target.com. For as little as $15, you can start your own Star Wars puzzle collection today. I love the detail of the atmospheric moisture on the cockpit canopy, makes it all just feel so real. Ahsoka reminds Hu Yang that the Jedi Order does not exist anymore, and Hu Yang asked her how she got Elsbeth to confess the location of this map.
Let's just say I didn't follow standard Jedi protocol.
Yikes! Sounds like Ahsoka might have tortured it out of Elsbeth, perhaps using that Force torture that Kylo Ren uses in The Force Awakens. They get this call.
Fulcrum, this is Home 1. Do you copy? Over.
Their call sign is Fulcrum, which was Ahsoka's rebel codename during Rebels. On their approach to Home 1, they passed 3 X-Wings, which I'm just gonna assume are the ones piloted by Trapper Wolf, Jib Dodger, and Sash Ketter, because
Yeah, I don't know if how many people actually know that Easter egg as well, but in Mandalorian Season 1, you get to see these 3 X-Wing pilots, and they're
X-Wings,
actually...
which I'm
Hold on, let me get
assume
back
are the
to...
ones piloted by Trapper
By 3 directors, starting with Dave Filoni,
Wolf, Jib Dodger, and Sash.
and then... it was Deborah Chow... Wait, get back there.
Ones piloted by Trapper Wolf,
No.
Dodger, and Sash Ketter.
Okay. Deborah Chow and... oh gosh, what's his name? What's his name? Totally forgot. Let me put Mandalorian. I want to remember his name because he did such a great job. Such a great job that he moved up from director to... to executive producer, along with Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. Bryce Dallas Howard. This is Peyton Reed. Carl Weathers, we know. Dave Filoni, yes. Come on, give me more, give me... Robert Rodriguez. Rick Famuyiwa, that's his name. Rick Famuyiwa. So yeah, Dave Filoni, Deborah Chow, and Rick Famuyiwa, who were all directors on Mandalorian Season 1, and they made cameos in Season 1 as X-Wing pilots.
Because the cameo trio, Dave Filoni, Rick
Oh,
Famuyiwa,
I should have
and
just
Deborah
let it
Chow
play.
always shows up in these titles. Ahsoka's T6 soars past.
And then we see Dave Filoni. We've seen Dave Filoni more times. I don't think we've seen Rick Famuyiwa or Deborah Chow's pilot characters come back.
To Home 1, matching the framing of Lando piloting the Falcon past Home 1 in the Battle of Endor and Return of the Jedi. Inside this hangar, Ahsoka is greeted by General Hera Syndulla, the Twi'lek captain of the Ghost in Rebels, here played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She wears a Phoenix Squadron patch on her sleeve.
I love that. I want a shirt with that, with the Phoenix Squadron logo.
In Rebels Season 2, the Ghost Crew joined the Phoenix Squadron and Hera was promoted to the leader of it, and the back of her jacket shows the Ghost Crew Spectre 2 patch. Hu Yang turns to look in shock at the Teal Navigation Protocol.
Teal, you see? That other article said that this was a reference to 000, which is the black one, and they are clearly calling it teal. I mean, you can see that. I mean, that's clearly like a teal or blue color.
Shin-Hati presumably sliced. We saw this droid in the opening scene, and as we'll see in episode 2, Hu Yang shares 3PO's sense of mortality. They meet in one of the Mon Calamari council rooms that we saw Mon Mothma giving a briefing
See,
in
here
Return
we
of the
go.
Jedi, with the same circular benches. Ahsoka tells Hera that the map contains the location of Thrawn, whom Hera thought died in the Battle of Lothal, but Ahsoka said it was never confirmed.
If Thrawn survived, does that mean Ezra?
Yes, they are recapping the finale of
I
Rebels.
love that. I love that the first thing that Hera thinks of is not necessarily like, oh no, Thrawn could be alive, and that could mean like more Imperial remnants out there. The first thing she really thinks of is the possibility of Ezra being alive, and that's great. I think that's a great writing decision, and I think that was played off the hurt and the hope that Ezra could be alive in her voice was played very well by Mary Elizabeth
Ezra
Winstead.
and Thrawn disappeared with the Purgle. Up until this point, Hera thought both of them were dead. This Mon Calamari officer reports,
General, the Defense Council is requesting.
You see? Okay, who is this?
An update on the incident.
now this is not Admiral Akbar.
Okay, you see another one. Another article had said this is Admiral Akbar, and it's clearly not. clearly a different Mon Cala.
Admiral Akbar didn't have this.
That's why this is one reason I always go through several sources just to get some confirmation, because one might be staking a claim that there is some sort of character or some sort of Easter egg, while another one will have some proof that it's not and make a clarification like they're doing here. I mean, showing the pictures side by side, you can clearly see two different characters of the same species.
And this officer has a patch with a single dot on it, which means first officer or lieutenant. But this character does sound like him. We should note that Eric Bowersfield passed away in 2016. Okay.
The Wells Fargo Active Cash Card. Earn 2%
Not the ads.
and cash back on what you want, like a brand new bike. And
Let's spy on Zach. What's Zach doing? Still playing God of War. Oop. Bring back the volume.
The Rebels series. We see Governor Ryder Azadi giving a speech. Ryder Azadi was a prisoner on Lothal in season 2, but broke out, who knew Ezra's parents and joined the Rebel cause. He was voiced by Clancy Brown, who plays him in live action here. Also on this dais is Senator Jai Kell, another character from Rebels, the cadet in the Lothal Imperial Academy alongside Ezra Bridger. Kell was believed to be Force sensitive. Benny Thomas plays him here, but the animated version was voiced by Rufio actor Dante Bosco. They're standing in front of this commemorative mural. We saw this in the final scene of Rebels. Sabine Wren painted it.
I just noticed that like one.
Same exact.
I just noticed that one Lothwolf is white and the other is dark. That's really cool.
Illustration. It depicts the whole Ghost crew: Hera, Sabine, Ezra, Kanan Jarrus, Zeb, and Chopper, Loth cats, and we see 2 Loth wolves. 2 of them. One light, one dark. Could this mirror Skoll and Hati as the wolves of Norse mythology? Are they, in a way, fighting on the same side of the Ghost crew? So Ryder asks Jaikel, where is she? Actually, I think you can see Sabine's speeder bike in the lower right.
Someone on Instagram had pointed this out. Morgan Bricks had like paused it and said, right when he says, "Where is Sabine?" you see, pretty sure that's Sabine riding off, because that looks like the same road that we see the E-wing chasing her on.
Far distance in the background on the ground there. Okay, set to some rock music that is definitely not common for Star Wars. Sabine Wren, played by Natasha Leo Bordizzo, speeds down this Lothal highway. She's wearing this helmet with some Lothcat drawings and the Orbish letters of B, AE, and B.
Babe. Oh my goodness. I'm not very familiar. Like, I know what Orbesh is, but I can't read it. Just off the bat, I would have to have like the translator or all the symbols listed out and then like try to piece it together. But babe, oh my goodness.
Babe. She also has a Phoenix Squadron patch on her jacket, though later in her box in her home, there is another Phoenix Squadron patch, which I wonder might be Ezra's. Meanwhile, the Orbesh on the traffic overhangs reads "Caution," and then later, Sector 7, Sabine is chased by 2 E-Wings. Now, previously, these only showed up in Legends literature. First introduced in the Dark Empire comic, they were known as escort shuttles introduced during Thrawn's campaign to rebuild the Fallen Empire. Sabine seems to have a familiar relationship with this pilot, and notice his call sign is Spectre 21.
I saw that. So, I mean, the Ghost crew was all Spectre 1 through 6, so it looks like the Spectre call sign was carried on.
Crew of the Ghosts numbered themselves. Sabine was Spectre 5, Kanan Jarrus was Spectre 1, Harris Syndulla was Spectre 2, Chopper Spectre 3, Zeb was Spectre 4, Ezra was Spectre 6, and then later on, Hera and Kanan's son, Jason, was Spectre 7. So it seems like they've continued that tradition with all the Lothal pilots. The astromech droid that shorts out is actually based on the vintage...
Yeah, so someone, I'd seen this pointed out when the trailer was first released, that this droid is clearly based on this old Kenner toy. Kenner being the company that used to make all the Star Wars action figures. And yeah, very much based the design with these triangular little slots, the big eye. That's a really cool homage.
Toy from Kenner with the teardrop indents.
Which is actually not the first time that Dave Filoni has like brought in toys to make something canon. Like the big one was, there was a stormtrooper troop transport, like this like gray little shuttle that rides along on the ground, and that was a toy back in when Star Wars, the early days of Star Wars, but it was never actually seen in any of the Star Wars movies. And then he brought it into canon in Rebels, and then it was seen in live action in Mandalorian season 2, I believe.
in the blue eyepieces. Really fun Easter egg there. Sabine lives in a communication tower that looks like Ezra's roost. Lothal Net Com Tower E272. Seems like she's just moved into the home that he started the series in. On the walls, she's painted several stormtrooper helmets that have been X'd out. You can also see some drawings of Loth Cats, Loth Wolves, Chopper, and some stacked stones. It might be a nod to her Jedi training of having to stack stones, like Yoda did with
Oh, it's always
Dagobah.
stacking
We learned that
stones.
she's kept as a pet. My favorite character in the series, this spotted Loth Cat, which
Look
looks
at
like a
that.
mix of VFX and the wide shots, but in close-ups, a practical puppet, which is similar to the mix of VFX and puppetry
That's
that brought Grogu to
crazy.
life. Just like Grogu, I want one of these things. Loth Cats, a reminder, are native to Lothal. We actually saw
Oh, you
one
see,
in live.
this was what we saw in Mandalorian, which is clearly like, just like cats and dogs in real life have different breeds. I'm sure Loth Cats, Loth Wolves, whatever other creatures we see have different breeds. So this one looks pretty much all visual effects and obviously different colors.
Growling at Grogu in The Mandalorian. As Sabine feeds this fur
Whereas this one looks like he said, like a mix of puppetry and visual effects.
around under the table collecting dust is her old Mandalorian helmet. Sabine came from the Mandalorian House Vizsla and served as an Imperial weapons specialist before she defected, but her family on Cronus remained loyal to the Empire. She briefly wielded the Darksaber. She got trained by Kanan in Season 3, but she handed off the Darksaber to Bo-Katan Kryze. Sabine had always kept her hair short because her scalp would get hot under the helmet, so the fact that her hair is grown out now tells us that she's left that warrior life behind. She plays a holo recording from Ezra Bridger, who's played in the series by Iman Esfandi.
Sorry for disappearing on you. As a Jedi, sometimes you have to make this.
I think he's doing a good voice, this actor, Iman, to play the very much mirroring the voice of young Ezra, played by Taylor Gray.
We're not really family, but you're like a sister to me. I know your fight isn't over.
Like a sister. Some people aren't gonna like that. Some people who ship them.
But I'm counting on you to see this through.
Oh, wow. So like Tony Stark in Avengers Endgame, Ezra Bridger knew what he was about to do, make a sacrifice play with Thrawn in the Purgle, and he took a moment to make a goodbye recording before that final fight. I like the detail how he rubs his head when he says, we're not really family, because that was just a recurring thing in Rebels. All these members of the Ghost crew had their own families that they were either running away from or dying to get back to, yet they still loved each other. And clearly Ezra doesn't want to insert himself in between Sabine and her family. Morgan.
If you sleep on your side, I bet you hate your pillow, and this is why. They might be as fluffy as...
Morgan Elsbeth tells Shin that she's a Night Sister of Dathomir.
You're a witch.
You're a witch.
A survivor.
Damn.
You're a witch, Morgan.
So Elsbeth rejects the pejorative of someone who would use sorcery for whims, instead reframes the idea of being a Night Sister as a believer who holds closer dogma in order to survive over the ages. Someone who has survived in the way that the Jedi and the Sith have not survived. Shin still doesn't trust it though.
What thread is she spinning?
No, it's not witchcraft.
Yes, Elsbeth is obsessed with the idea of fate and prophecy, and spinning thread comes from the Greek archetype of spiders and the fates spinning thread and weaving the tapestry of the future. But Balin, notice, no longer sees it as a bogus superstition. But with Balin is an Inquisitor who we still know little about, Marok. Their helmet is similar to that of the 8th brother in the Rebels Season 2 finale. That character supposedly died, but reminder that Inquisitors are Jedi hunters recruited by Darth Vader and Palpatine after the Purge, all of them former Jedi, to hunt down all the other Jedi refugees that are still in hiding. We know this one's an Inquisitor because all Inquisitors carry this round-hilted lightsaber that spins like this. Sabine dreams about Ezra,
that throw.
we hear his voice
So
saying,
cool.
and if you look closely in the corner of this room behind her are
Here
some
we go.
Stormtrooper helmets, including
Okay. Hold on. Show me the
a few
next.
Scout Trooper helmets. They kind of look like the one Zeb stole for Ezra from that Scout Trooper who jumped on board the Ghost.
The kid wants your helmet. Sorry.
They also wore some Scout Trooper helmets when they
Okay.
jumped on board the Ghost.
Wait, go back. Right there. Why didn't no one point that out?
No, this one's an Inquisitor because all Inquisitors
Hold on,
carry
go
this
back.
round-hilted lightsaber that spins like this. Sabine dreams about Ezra, and we hear his voice.
Right there. Is that not clearly Ezra Scout as a Scout Trooper helmet? Where is a good picture? This one right here. Orange, yellow Scout Trooper helmet. Orange and yellow Scout Trooper helmet. No one has pointed that out in any article. That's crazy. Or video.
And if you look closely in the corner of this room behind her are some
Oh.
stormtrooper helmets,
Nope.
including a few scout trooper helmets. They kind of look like
Yeah,
the
but
ones
look at the
Zeb
other
stole
side,
for
man.
Ezra from that scout trooper who jumped on board the Ghost.
Kid, what's your helmet? Sorry.
They also wore some scout trooper helmets when they first went into the Jedi Temple on Lothal. There's just a lot of different instances that they would have these from. This shot of Sabine looking out from the comms tower at the two X-Wings and Ahsoka's T6 mirrors the opening shot of Ezra in Rebels Season 1, Episode 1, when he looked out at the Star Destroyer that arrived to Lothal. Writer Azadi scolds Sabine.
You were missed, Sabine. Everyone was there.
Not everyone.
Yeah, Sabine skipped the ceremony because it didn't feel right without Ezra there. Kevin Kiner doesn't sample John Williams' themes exactly, but he does include some riffs that evoke it, like he does here. Sabine re-enters the T6, and Kevin Kiner includes some sweet flute and clarinet and bell chimes, which really is just some classic John Williams tones that you hear in movies like E.T. Her bunk includes drawings of more Lothcats and Chopper, some stacked stones, and some
Chopper
TIE
drawing
fighters.
right there.
Rebels ended with Ahsoka rejoining Sabine to go off in search of Ezra Bridger, but now it's implied that Ahsoka taught Sabine in the Jedi ways, and that it didn't go too well.
You never made things easy for me, Master.
There is nothing easy about being a Jedi.
Yeah, Ahsoka knows this quite well. All her Jedi relationships ended in tragedy. So Sabine steals the map and gets tracked by Shin's probe droid, reminding us of Maul.
There we go. There's a good video
Ahsoka,
parallel.
I bet your master found you difficult at times.
Anakin never got to finish my training. Before the end of the Clone Wars, I walked away from him and the Jedi.
The framing of this shot with Hera's projection behind Ahsoka's shoulder
Thanks
mirrors
for the
the
lurk.
framing of Ahsoka in the Lothal Jedi Temple in Rebels Season 2, Episode 18, when Anakin's ghostly form appeared over that
We're
same
gonna end
shoulder
here in
and turned
about
Vader, and
4 or
finally
5
here she began
minutes,
to
and
come
then
to
we'll
terms with the
raid.
fact that her parting ways with the Anakin was followed almost immediately by Anakin's fall to the dark side, and that is guilt she carries with her to this day. Sabine.
Oh, goodness gracious.
All right, it's today.
Nothing brings the pack together like a
Let's
trip
spy on
to
Zach
Great
again.
Wolf Lodge.
Honestly, I would love to keep playing, but
AG1 is so much more than a greens powder. In one single scoop, it delivers daily multivitamins, pre and probiotics, stress adaptogens.
Sabine inspects the map sphere and
So check this out here. So she's doing some cross-referencing, and like Ahsoka told her, like, you have the artist's eye, which was like really good to see her like use that and find the pattern. You know, really reminded me of like Indiana Jones, reminded me of some stuff from like the Jedi Fallen Order and Survivor video
is
games.
that the three witch statues align with this three-pronged symbol, realizing that the map's key is contained within it, and uses this Rubik's Cube twist-in of its different faces to realign it and activate it. So again, significance of the number 3. 3 witches, 3 faces. 3 is the witch's number. It's also the number of the Divine Trinity in the Star Wars mythology of the Father, the Daughter, and the Son of Mortis. With this map decoded, it projects around the sphere the galaxy they are currently in with a path to another galaxy. Episode 2 explores this path to Peridia a bit more, and I'll get more into it in tomorrow's breakdown. But just to tease my theory, I think this map was built by the Rakatan invaders, an ancient civilization far predating the Jedi and the Sith, something explored in Knights of the Old Republic with star maps in that game, and the path of the Purrgil could lead back through time to the Rakatans. I would roll my eyes at this theory, but the Lucasfilm team inserted a Rakatan Easter egg in Andor. Andor, of all things. They want us to think about the Rakatan invaders. Sabine gets attacked by these HK droids. They steal the map. They blast her shit. She runs into Shin Hati, and she ignites the green lightsaber of Ezra Bridger. Sabine even starts patiently, standing at the ready position, just as Ezra taught her to do with the Darksaber, but Shin is more patient. She lets Sabine charge first.
My God.
Big mistake, Sabine. Notice how Sabine uses these desperate overhead chopping motions, leaving herself vulnerable, and she tries to rush to the end of the fight with just one power blow. I mean, to be fair to Sabine, this is the first time she's picked up a lightsaber in years, and Shin, we just saw at the beginning of this episode, got a whole warm-up round of New Republic officers with clumsy trigger fingers. And throughout this fight, notice how Shin fights Sabine closer and closer and closer to the ground until she stabs her through the side. I guess missing vital organs, because even after the stab, Sabine continues slashing, which I guess is the show's way of saying, she's okay, she'll bounce back. But either way, this apprentice lost the battle of apprentices, because on the good side, the Master and and apprentice are still separate, and they're facing a master and apprentice who have had a lot more time together trusting each other. So I love these closing credits. They show golden lines on a star map. This is the path to Peridia that gets talked about in episode 2. It's passing through constellations and words in an ancient language. They pass a loath wolf and a ring of Purgle hyperspace whales. And notice how all the different lines beam back to one destination. This is likely where Thrawn is and where Ezra is. Remember, the loath wolves and rebels led Ezra into the world between worlds. That is a realm between points in time. It's the closest Star Wars has ever gotten to time travel. Yes, it's crazy, but based off of these first 2 episodes, it seems like we might be going there. The Purgle could operate on a bridge that takes us through hyperspace, through time, and the reason this path leads to Thrawn seemingly in one destination, it's not because Thrawn just hasn't ever gotten up from his chair wherever he is, it's because that destination doesn't lead to a place, it leads to a when. More on this in tomorrow's breakdown of episode 2. I want to thank Noah Chen for his research help.
See, Noah Chen.
This breakdown, and again, please check out our Rebels.
Yeah, so it's always a team effort there at New Rockstars. He always gives credit to the writers and the team that helped him put the video together, which I think is just great. But other than that, I'm going to be ending stream here. Thank you all so much. We're going to do a raid. We're probably going to raid over to Zach. I think he's finishing up his stream too. I don't know how long more he's going to go. He said he was going to go for a while, but I'll be back tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow to break down Ahsoka episode 2. And we'll see what Easter eggs we can find there, but I'll see you then, guys. Yep. Let's see what we got here. Come on. Should have set up the raid earlier. Oh, there we go.